Hello everybody, ALLOS here, also Sketching Creations. Today we're back in the Stanley Apparel Ultra Deluxe, where today, Stanley will be live on stage. Let's get right into it. How long is this scene going to end up being, I wonder? It's like, the regular game ending is just long out the window now at this point. Oh, there's more posters above us I didn't see. Have a look. So what is that? Featured keynote speaker, the Lord, plus meet and greet. Oh boy. It's a blank poster. I wonder why it's blank. I didn't try clicking anything here on the desk. Make sure there's no interact points. No, it's probably the same book here. Up again, down again. The amazing Stanley is... Oh, it's playing golf back here, of course. The amazing thing is Stanley has written a book about it so quickly. These curtains must be custom models. It's like there's no curtains available in Source normally. Stanley is such an amazing author. He wrote a book while in that elevator without any writing material. Oh boy. Well, here goes nothing. Oh god. Oh. We're popular, and the bloom is blinding. Yeah, it's me, Stanley. Wow. Down the... Oh god. Oh, what? Have I died? Is it too overwhelming? Oh, really? That was all that was left to that ending? I could have done that within the last episode easily. Really? Okay, fine then. You waited a whole day for a whole lot of nothing. Alright then. Let's get back on track for the regular ending then.
All of his
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Keep an eye on his window every time you pass by, because you might get to see that one Easter egg I mentioned in the last part.
When Stanley
came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. I know talking over Kevin Briding should be a sin, but you know, Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he would
staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, I cut him off there. Okay, what is the... won't say this time. Oh, it opens outwards. Okay, no, it says the same thing. I'm pretty sure it does change, though. At least at some point.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation.
Oh my
but his
God.
attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Oh, whoops.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Whoops.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Alright then. This time we're going the right way. I pressed E that time. This time we're not going to do the elevator dance again. We're going to go straight for the story. I think I skipped the preamble there. Oh. Yeah, we're not going to go back in this time. The layout here changed.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I feel like it was like more void-like before. Oh. If flight is on, call X914 immediately. Is that the same emergency number from Aperture, the red phone? Ooh, ominous.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. did he have the strength to find out?
By the way, I like how the Stanley Parable uses the old aperture catwalks and railings, just recolored blue. It's a nice touch. I like it. It's very, like, these feel like more cohesive than the modern aperture walkways. The modern aperture ones are just kind of weird to work with. Cameras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Right there. Right there in the middle. Watch it. Yep, that's our office right there. No mistaking it. So man, having all these screens here, these are the Gladys screens, the flat ones probably. Having all these screens, including the weird offset ones up top. So the catwalk up there also will be important at a later point. Remember it. Anyways.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Shoot, I missed a thing. At some point you can walk back to the start of the room and trigger another thing. I missed it. I don't know what exact point triggers it. Well, next time then.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Quite possibly.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
1, 2. There's buttons here. I don't want to memorize where they are. They may come back later. I can't go up there. What is up there? Is there a number button up there? I can't tell what is it. Just blank. Oh, so by the way, yes, I did parody this area in Escape from Aperture. Escape from Aperture. I did parody this area. It was meant to be a very obvious parody. That was a rip-off. Now it's meant to be an obvious parody. Oh, here's another number button. This one is... Here's 3. So that's 3. There's this one. That one's 5. So is 4 the one at the top? Probably. Alright then. Yeah, my parody is not as good as the original, though. The original is always miles better. And here we are. The mind controls are idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Yes.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
How did I
What
get
other
here?
mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Now imagine how this whole place looks from the outside before the door opened. As I feel like people don't really look at this scenery before they step out. Trees, cobblestone walls. So it's not quite a barn over there, like a small country shop. There's a parking lot. It looks a bit cut off. It's a bit weird. And okay.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
He was indeed happy. However, achievement unlocked, beat the game. However, the end is never the end. Now we're back here to start. Now before I go back over there, because there's more stuff, let's just take a break.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
I remember they getting cut off more in the original. Anyways, that's never ending right there. So lock yourself in the office. You don't have the dedication to do it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The end is never the end.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Is never... Oh, this one's off already. Someone's saving power at least. Oh, hello. Awaiting input. We'll return to that. Actually, no. Do I need to stand on this side? Do I need to be on desk? There we go. Input received. That'll be important. Keep an eye for that screen. Anyways. Tempting offer, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. I'll be back for you. I'll be back for you. Okay. I'll be back for that. Is that just... It is actually just a corridor. Okay, that makes sense. They use doors that already exist to add more content. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
A wave of disbelief. Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I'm just gonna piss you off, dude. Alright. That happens the next time you go in there in the next reload.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever.
Oh shoot. There's an input delay. Oh, achievement unlocked. You can't jump. I was spamming the E button and mouse key, and apparently got an achievement for you can't jump. That wasn't even spacebar. As soon as I press the button, the door is going to close. But I know there's a thing you can get here. I just don't remember how you trigger it. It involves going back to that first button, but I don't remember how you trigger it. I'm not sure how you unlock them. I may need more endings to unlock this secret. Okay, I'll be back still.
He refused to believe it.
Pirate?
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Those are weird wires. I don't remember those. I don't remember the jagged wires. That's a little creepy. Anyways, bad idea time.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
I said more for
Long
controls.
until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first. So
Oh, God.
You can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
And then Stanley died. The end. Alright, that was that ending. How lovely.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yes, perhaps, right. Not this time. Oh, here's the next input screen. Bloop. Those appear randomly around the office, so remember to keep an eye out. So isn't there just like a thing here? It's like...
Oh, and I guess this is where Stanley felt he needed to be right now. In this little hallway. Here, with no distractions, to study room 417. Not to actually enter it. No. That would be far too forward. Stanley wanted to know it from the outside. To see it not just with his eyes, but with his heart. He would know room 417 as no man or woman had ever known an office before. That ladder over there. Oh, and that little picture of a horizon or something. It's all just a never-ending parade of joy for Stanley.
It indeed is. His office is under maintenance. Gotta wonder why. What were they doing up there in the ducts in the ceiling? You really gotta know. They never tell you. I don't think there's anything else there, though, so...
No. Apparently not.
Right. That door is tempting, but there's other stuff to see first. And I want to try it, the one secret again, in the room, to see if I can make it happen. If not, I'll see you at the next event of interest.
Wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Anything new, bathroom wall? I've got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. That doesn't really rhyme.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered. Desperate for answers, he began turning the room over looking for clues that might unravel the situation, until at last he discovered a keypad behind the boss's desk. But alas, no code. For this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number.
Shoot.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
How do I keep forgetting that?
Yet incredibly,
Okay, I couldn't make that work.
all of his co-workers were gone. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nah, I'm just gonna go smoke in the basement. Get my drugs and hookers. They're all down here. Along secretly under the stairs. No.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss
new
would think he
texture.
was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. all of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, And in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
It looked like a murderer who just left the scene of the crime. Anyways, you never get to learn more about Mariella. Shame, really. Anyways, I think I'll do one more. What? Hello?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Cave Johnson's was a true enemy all along. I was going to see if I can go for one more ending here before I cut it off. No, to be rich isn't a crime. To commit crimes isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to depict just one. Deep words, bathroom wall. Anyways, here we go. Here's the next input on the secretary's computer. So while I'm here, can I get this?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered. Desperate for answers, he began turning the room over, looking for... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Right. Now back at the
All of
start.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah,
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
now back at the start. Next input is here.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I don't even think they upscaled the textures for the Portal 2 mugs. Anyways, begin the game again one more time, and... we are now in button heaven. Press all the buttons. Press all the buttons. Press all the buttons. It's button heaven. All the buttons you can press for the rest of our afterlife. Buttons.